All right. You are live with Dr. Chapa. Hey, I so look forward to that little sign that pops up on the screen that says you're live. Why? Because if you are live, that means you are tuned in because you are alive. And when you're alive, you have something to be grateful for, thankful for, something that you should be excited about. And today, it's a good day, man. We're alive and well and kicking butt and taking names and ready to tackle that for which we have been assigned. So are you living your assignment, or are you just letting life beat you down, beat you up, and push you wherever it wants to go? Or are you living on purpose? My hope is that you're living on purpose. Why? Well, it's just a more better way to live. And I get excited about coming to you guys live every Monday, teaching you how to live better, be better, stay better, one bite at a time. I'm going to make this little screen a little bit bigger. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about the gut, heart axis. We can also talk about some other things that y'all might have seen in the news today. If you have questions, put them in the chat. We'll see if we can't answer some of those. And up in the right-hand corner, I'm not actually sure. We may have to move that QR code to the later. I don't know if that's my logo might be in the way. But essentially, I want you guys to subscribe to our newsletter. And when you do subscribe to our newsletter, you will discover, actually watch this. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to move it. See, I'll put it right there. Look at me. And then we're going to go back and we're going to go present. This is how you know it's live, folks, is you're just moving on the fly, just like that. So now you have access to it. It's not hiding. Look at me. Scan that QR code, the gut heart axis, how gut microbes influence your health. Why do I want you to get involved on that QR code? Because it's going to teach you some cool things. We have a free newsletter that we give to the public that it's free to you. It's our way of just pouring into you education, information, and keeping you up to date with what's happening. I got some great 5-day nutrition programs coming out, the 5-day lean. I've got some great detox protocols that are, easy to implement into your life if you're busy, especially in and around the holidays. And I'll be honest with you, if you do have indeed time to do the detox in a box, of course, you still have time to get your 42 days a year of detox in, and you should, drchopawalls.com, and make sure that you're tapped into detoxification. Because if you're not detoxing in the 21st century, guys, you're missing a huge piece of your healthcare plan, which essentially brings us to what our topic is tonight. So again, if you do have questions, if you have comments, we'll answer those as you go, because there's been a lot of talk today, a lot of rumble about hormone therapies that are now deemed safe, and the realities, that we need to talk this through and help people understand. Guys, if you are not being encouraged to change your lifestyle, then you need to question the source. The lifestyle is everything. Just taking a shot in the butt, a cream on your body parts is not the answer. We have to be smarter than this, and we have to start recognizing that there is some work that we have to do. That is, diet shifts. That's exercise, moving and grooving. That's better attitude and thinking. That is detoxification. That is leveraging different types of biohack therapies. There is so much to this game, but essentially the gut is everything. All life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is everything that drives you onward, upward, goodward, and Godward, or unfortunately spirals you off out of control. And it starts and stops at the cellular level, but it can only get to the cells. How? If your gut allows it. Well, what if your gut lining was the gatekeeper from you living your best life or your worst life, symptomatic life? I had a guy come in, simple. He had cramps all throughout his body, head to foot, arms, back, chest, pecs, legs, calves, feet. He literally was 27, 28. I've never, in 20 years, just as happened, had a patient come in with such symptoms. I was literally just kind of in my mind going, okay, I'm waiting for the big drop. Surely he's got like a real hard symptom. So I'm thinking this is going to be easy. This is calcium and magnesium. This is essential fatty acids. This is mineral force. This is a mineral issue. And he gave me nothing else. So I had to go do calcium cuff analysis and discover, he's He can't even handle pressure around the calf above 115. It should be 300. Okay, well, that's a problem. He failed the zinc test. Well, that's a problem. I'm surprised he doesn't have heartburn, indigestion. Well, he's only 27. So, I mean, of course he doesn't have heartburn and indigestion yet. But he's overweight, about 10, 15 pounds. And he just really wanted his cramps to go away. Well, what if that was a cramp in the heart? That ain't gonna fly. So you got to understand, the gatekeeper, your gut lining, allows nutrition across, and it blocks things that it doesn't want to cross, like toxins or bioburdens. But what if the gut is allowing things across the membranes that you don't even realize are affecting your immune system, or affecting your brain, or disrupting the ecology that lives in the gut lining, and causing a lot of havoc in your health? And in tonight's talk, the gut is affecting the heart. So we've been talking about this gut microbiome connection to the body, and they call it the holobiome. And if the brain gut connection is there, there has to be a gut lung connection, a gut skin connection, a gut heart connection, a gut thyroid connection, a gut uterine connection. You name it, there's a gut connection to these tissues. And if the gut is healthy, strong, and vibrant, so will you be, I promise. And the gut will help you navigate the things of the world. So what is the gut-heart axis? The gut-heart axis is a communication link, okay, between your digestive system and your cardiovascular system. I do cardiovascular cleanses all the time. But do you know when I do cardiovascular cleanses? At the beginning of a care plan, because they've been diagnosed with atherosclerosis or they've got heart issues? No, man. That's like later down the road that we go after some of this stuff. We start in the digestive tract. There's 3 systems that you want to work on. Tonight, we're talking about the gut, but it'd be gut, liver, lymph. The gut is affected by our detox program, or our gut cleanse programs, or our 5-day reset program. The liver is affected by our 21-day detox. Our lymphatics is a specialty protocol for maximizing your lymphatic system. If I had the ability to take your lymphatics out in the back, pop them like a rug, put them back in, you would be good as new in no time flat. The gut microbiome releases substances that can either protect your heart or harm your heart. Which do you choose? Put it in the comments. I'd love to know. I'm pretty sure I already know the answer, though. Let me see if there's anything going on right now. Is Dr. Chapa live? Dr. Chapa is live. You better mute that. All right, so I am excited that we are live. Okay, good. So now let's keep trucking here. The gut microbiome at a glance. Okay, so home to trillions of bacteria, fungi, and microbes. A balanced gut supports digestion. Well, that's easy. Of course it does. Immune function. Did you know that your gut membranes that protect you from the outside world, because if an ant crawled in your mouth through your hiney and went through the whole tubing system, it never technically went inside you? That's interesting. And so the immune system functions at that enterocyte level, that lining level, and it is your first line of defense. And it controls inflammation modulation. Okay, so if you've got a lot of inflamed tissues, if you've taken any of my metabolic studies, tests, you would discover that you can measure your inflammatory rate. You can measure your malnutrition rate. You can measure your metabolic rate. And are you maximizing your energy pathways, or are you being essentially left in the dust, wasting energy? I hope you're not that guy. I hope that, as we go through this together, that you are learning that we can change our future by changing the health and well-being of our gut by choosing well. It's your life, your health, somebody say it, your choice. And I want people to really grasp hold of that. That would have been awesome as a party foul. Like, my computer just gave me a flash that said, your battery's running low. Oh my gosh, that would have been awesome. Glad I had 30 seconds. The key player in that substance that the gut produces, the key player, TMAO, it's called trimethylamine. And the gut bacteria, when out of balance, I really want to emphasize this part. When out of balance, somebody say, when out of balance, the gut does not process food well, especially something that should serve you well, red meat, eggs. And of course, that's the message. When the gut isn't transmitting well, it will take real food and convert it into a poison. Isn't that terrible? So people come to me all the time and I put them on a carnivore diet or I put them on a keto diet. So I do not want people to walk away from this lecture and say, well, he said red meat's bad. He said, eggs are bad. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when the gut microbial lining is altered, when it's inflamed, when there's too many bad opportunistic bugs present, okay, it releases a compound from proteins that we would normally call good into poisons. The liver turns this TMA, these trimethylamines, into a trimethylene nitrogen oxide. And when you have high levels of this TMAO compound, you are at a higher risk for arterial plaque clotting and inflammation. So now, is that your body doing something dumb? No, it's just running a program. And the program is being built at the ground level. And so it's following the blueprint. It got hijacked. You literally have a virus or a bacteria virus in your computer mindset that is altering how your body systems function. Please grab that, because red meat is not your enemy, guys. Eggs are not your enemy. Dairy, it might be your enemy. All right. So there might be people that contest that, but the reality is find me one species that consumes dairy from another bosom post weaning. Anybody? Any other creature living off the teat of another post weaning? I'm pretty sure humans are the only. Oh, well, we're the superior vessel. The Bible says the land of milk and honey. No, they just mean bountiful, right? Plenty, that we would have abundance. It was a metaphor. It wasn't that we live on milk and honey. And unfortunately, let's take this to the 21st century, like here's where people are now sitting, consuming pasteurized, homogenized milk products that are mutated these milk proteins into something that's extraordinarily inflammatory. And then the amount of hormones they have to give Elsa the cow in order to produce the natural amount of milk in a day, that compared to what she would naturally produce, is exponential. And then her teats are so raw because she's been hooked up to these machines all day long that you're getting blood in the milk, for which they treat, mind you, with antibiotics and now you've got antibiotic laden, steroid laden, probably pus filled and homogenized and pasteurized milk. Does that sound like real? No, of course not. And I know you're probably thinking, Doc, you're being a little bit intense with this milk discussion. And I go, well, I am, because I don't even think that, I think this might be actually contributing to this TMAO substance that is driving inflammation. Had a patient come in today. We got about 70% of the diet out of the diet, of the diet clear of dairy. And we saw amazing improvements, but we're still leaking and having some leaky bowel issues. We're still seeing some uncontrollable bowel issues. However, we're sleeping better. The patient's eating better. The patient is turning the corner. But unfortunately, because the way the school systems are set up, if they have one more accident, they will be expelled. So we cannot let them go back to school just yet because we aren't there yet. That's okay. We've only had 2 weeks under care. But this is real life, guys. Okay. So bowel issues are extraordinarily real. So we looked at the food log today, and guess what was chock full of it? We were pooping along just fine, literally pooping along, and then no poop. And then we looked back 72 hours and we found mac and cheese or some sort of dairy substance in the cheese family. And guess what? We made a note. And then we kept looking. Oh, Another day where there's no bowel movement happening, and there's some more cheese, more mac and cheese, more substance. And unfortunately, this inflames the gut. So I asked the person, I said, if this was the determining factor between your kid going to school and your kid, being kicked out of school, would it really be that big of a deal? And the answer is obviously, of course, no. I would not let that be a deterrent. So we are making that shift, and it'll be awesome to see, even in the next 3 weeks, how much shift we get in the well-being of this person in their developmental years, going to school and associating with others, plus who are they going to become if they're malnourished? The fact that we've already seen an improvement in appetite, now we've seen an improvement in sleep. Do you think that's going to improve the quality of life of this child? Of course it's going to, guys. Of course. So again, I can't really put dairy into the, good category, but red meat and eggs I sure as heck can. But if your gut lining is jacked up, well, I know I've taken a long time to build you a watch, but you've got to get this. Red meat is your friend. Eggs are your friend. Dairy, not so much. But what's worse is when you have dysbiotic activity that creates this TMAO substance, now you're on your way to unhealthy clotting factors, arterial demise. You're seeing inflammation at its finest. So when you look at a healthy gut, you are supporting the anti-inflammatory pathways. When you look at an unhealthy gut with excessive amounts of this TMAO substance because of dysbiosis, dysbiotic activity of the gut lining, your clot factors, arterial factors, and inflammatory factors go up exponentially. We don't want to see restriction and flow. We want to see protected vessels, and that happens only through a healthy gut lining. So first compound condition that can be reversed. Okay, so I want you to understand, just because you can develop it doesn't mean that you can't undevelop it. That's a key factor. So I want to make sure that you recognize that if you are and have been diagnosed with atherosclerosis, understand that even though you are in a state where you are plaque building, you can reverse this and decrease your chances for heart attacks. You can decrease your chances for chest pains and fatigue and shortness of breath. And I have seen these types of studies where they do these Doppler studies and they do these arterial checks, and they discover that they improve the flow by 40, 50%, and just by using something like garlic. I had this one patient come in, cardiologist said, yeah, you got to have the stents put in. You got to have the balloon treatment. We've got to do a bypass. And we tried detoxification. We cleaned up the gut lining. We cleansed the tissues. We did some sequential immune boosting protocols. We decreased sugar. We changed their diet. And lo and behold, we didn't even do the cardiovascular program, and we opened up these channels. Yes, please. Do you think that person was thankful? Now they don't have fatigue. Now they have energy. Now they don't have chest pain. Now they go to the gym without worrying that they're going to drop dead on the treadmill, or why they have 200 pounds on the bench press. Shortness of breath, going to the mailbox, no mas. They're able to walk around the block with their dog in hand or their dog on a leash, and they're able to even get down and scoop up the poo without disrupting their own life and pleasing their neighbors. It's funny. There's a neighbor down the road that has your dogs won't poop in this yard sign. And my mom goes, that's funny. When the dogs can read the sign, maybe, you know what I mean? Why can't the dogs need to read the sign? I'm like, yeah, I get it. People don't want their big dogs pooping in the yard. I guess I have little dogs, and like, you can't even find it once they go. And because I feed my dogs raw, their bowels run so smooth, it dissolves in like less than 72 hours. It's pretty awesome. And that's how a healthy, that's health at its finest, when the bowels are an indicator light of good health. So guys, seriously. Condition number 2, thrombosis. When you have too much of this TMAO substance in your body. Again, why? Because you have a dysbiotic gut, and the gut is taking real food or processed food and converting it into this substance, it becomes sticky. And this increases your chances for clots. So if you have a stroke, it's a brain clot. If it's a heart attack, it's a heart clot. If it's a pulmonary embolism, it is a lung issue. So we don't want sticky, not in your blood supply. We want it actually pliable and thin. So I use things like, balancing calcium, magnesium, phosphorus. I look at blood work functionally. I think many of you know that I'll read blood work and I'll read it completely different than a medical doctor. When I use the blood panels that we run, I can show you where your body's breaking down in the standard of care blood panel, and then physiologically bring in metabolic tests to show you how your body's performing under load, under this inflammatory burden. So we need you to take the bull by the horns and get into the office so that we can help you best. That's why I want you signing up for our newsletters and being a part of the things that we're doing, because I'm telling you, if you want to live your best and perform your best, you got to start doing some things differently. Now, this is kind of a scary thing. This one really hits home and resonates with me, because what you're seeing in that picture of that feeling of that kind of a scared feeling of, oh, dear God, something's wrong in the chest. That's how it was when my dad died in my arms. Like, he was tripping, like he knew something was wrong. He couldn't figure out how you can translate a message. I bet you if he had half a brain cell left, he would have told me nitroglycerin, nitroglycerin. And the reality is I would have maybe had a clue in to know where that was. But at the end of the same day, this is real right here. And it is scary. And it happens, unfortunately, to women as much, if not even more, than men. I went to a seminar on cardiovascular disease thinking it was going to be all about the men. And of course, one of my heart's desires is to save as many men as possible, because I don't want to see families without their father. I don't want to see children raised without a father. I don't want to see wives without their husbands. The devil is after you, dudes. And he is nothing more pleasing to him to destroy you in order to disrupt and destroy the family line. And so it is your job to listen and not depend on just your wife to make all your health decisions. I know she does, and I'm thankful for the missus. However, I need you, frankly, to wake up and realize that this is real and you can reverse it. You don't have to suffer with it. I had a guy that I met a few weekends ago, and he says, yeah, I know I should eat better. I just love beer. Okay, well, how's that working for you? You know, when you've been diagnosed with cancer, beer probably shouldn't be in your future. If you've had a heart attack, alcohol shouldn't be in your future. Sugar shouldn't be in your future. Like, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I mean, I value life more than a momentary evening of pleasure, with the risk of inflaming my body to a point where this kind of stuff could happen. So chronic inflammation from the gut imbalances weakens the heart muscles, and it causes your body to not absorb well, toxins build up, and you're setting yourself up for a disaster. Hypertension. Who doesn't have hypertension today? And do you know hypertension disrupts B vitamins, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, zinc, iodine? It causes all kinds of disruption in how your body manufactures neurotransmitters, because when you disrupt the gut, you disrupt the brain. And so certain microbes influence how well your body can manage salt inside and outside the cell, and how well you hydrate, not because of how much you put in, but how well you hold water inside the cell appropriately. So when you have a dysbiotic or a gut lining foul up, you increase your blood pressure and arterial stiffness, creating hypertension. And so you can have any of these conditions and see where your health is. And this is the last one, obesity and metabolic syndrome. Oh my gosh, who doesn't have metabolic obesity syndrome? We are living in a culture today that's about 70 to 80 pounds overweight at any given time. And as you know, and the male, and probably 50 to 70 pounds overweight as a female. And so unhealthy microbes alter how your fat metabolism and insulin respond to your day. And think about it. We've all seen this, where we're drinking some sort of, caffeinated rocket fuel. Looks like there's some chocolate chips in that drink, fried chicken, a churro. Is that a churro? And rice. That is one heck of a meal. But the reality is we eat fast, we stuff it down. We don't even go commune with our fellow, comrades that are in the workforce. We just got to suck this energy down fast in furious, and it is unfortunate rocket fuel that just burns off really fast, leaving you inflamed and vulnerable. And so this is a huge, huge unhealthy situation that America is the most overweight culture on the planet. I think, there's competition between us and Australia, but the reality is the world as we know it is getting sicker. He who controls the food controls the world. And so when I see this all the time and people bringing food logs in that are laced with sugar and processed food and make-believe food, there's probably, I don't know that he's eaten anything real yet, drinking all that stuff, but this raises the risk for diabetes. This raises the risk for, of course, heart disease and stroke. This raises the risk for a life not well lived and a missed opportunity potential to live a person's best life. And therein lies where the gut microbiome can change your neurochemistry, and it can change how your thyroid works, your liver works, your lymphatics work, of course, just the direct impact it has on body systems as a whole. So, signs that your gut is imbalanced, bloating and irregularities in bowel flow, bloating after a meal. Who doesn't pop that, button on their trousers or their blouse when they get home on the way home because they're like feeling, ugh. Who doesn't burp all the time? I see that quite a bit. That's a sign that the liver's bogged down and can't keep up with day-to-day activity. If you are thin in the morning and bloated like 9 months pregnant by evening, that's a microbiome problem. And if you have irregular bowel movements and you're not having a bowel movement twice a day before 10 a.m. and in the afternoon sometime, you are delayed and late and not getting rid of the waste, trash, and debris you're supposed to, and it's leading to brain fog. It's leading to fatigue. It's causing mood swings and causing you to be overwhelmed and frustrated with life. This is for sure real. So, guys, I just sit here and I see this day in and day out. People bring me food logs, especially during the holidays with fun treats and fun activities, as well as a birthday celebration. Oh, it's Easter, or oh, it's Halloween, or oh, it's Thanksgiving. There's always going to be a wedding. There's always going to be somebody with a cookie jar. There's always going to be somebody that's going to offer you the goods. The devil is slick. The devil is sly. He's like that little cheap, guy that opens up his coat and says, "Which watch do you want?" And it's very appealing. It's very attractive and affordable. Why do you think a cup of fruit costs $7 and a bag of Skittles still costs for, under $1.50? And I'm surprised they don't make it cheaper. But the reality is you want to get sick, feed your body fake food. If you eat make-believe food, the best you'll ever have is, does anybody know? Say it. Make-believe health. Seriously. So poor stress intolerance. How many people today can't manage stress? The simplest person cutting them off on the freeway. Just the other day, I was coming home from church, and some guy, I don't know that I cut him off. Maybe I cut him off, but man, he was mad in a wet hen. He slid up behind me real fast and furious. He whipped around me, went in front of me, got in front of me, slammed on his brakes, and then took off and did all those things. And I was just like, bless you. I was in a good headspace. I just heard a good message from the Lord, and I was in a good space. So maybe I would have reacted poorly if I hadn't have been, filled with the Spirit that morning. Hey, but the reality is regardless, how often can you check yourself before you wreck yourself, not get hung by your own tongue? When you cannot measure and handle a stressful moment, it's because your gut microbiome is imbalanced. Okay, so this is more than just cardiovascular. You can see how it affects everything. Restoring gut health, harmony. I love that word. You eat fiber-rich foods, veggies, fruits, fermented foods. We'll talk about some of those. I got a lady right now that's doing a parasite cleanse, and we're doing veggies, fruits, and juices. And we haven't got to the fermented foods part because we're doing an active parasite protocol, and we're passing worms right, left, and Sunday. Literally 10-inch worms, 10.5-inch worms, multiple flukes, lots of seed pods, lots of mucoid plaques. It is whack. It is crazy. And I'm just always amazed. I'm always amazed myself. She goes, I hope you're not grossed out. Taste, show, and tell. Nope, I'm not grossed out. Let's take a look. She brought some of them in, and they are trippy. And the reality is they're in all of us at some degree. Are we regularly taking the bull by the horns and doing what we need to do to detox and cleanse our body and make it fire and function like God created it to? I don't think so. I think people need to. I don't think people are taking this serious. They're not changing their lifestyle. They're not moving and grooving, and they're not hydrating like they're supposed to in order to be their best and perform their best day in and day out. Do we got any questions yet? I don't know. Oh, I do see some of my comments there. That's good. All right, well, let's keep trucking. All right. Limit make-believe fake foods, guys. Again, make-believe food, make-believe health. Take quality probiotics and prebiotics. I have a gut restoration program that'll rock your socks. It's a whole week-long protocol. It's about, it's a whole month, really. You do like 5 days on, 2 days off, 5 days on, 2 days off. And during that 2 days off, you're restoring gut microbiome activity, bringing harmony back into the gut lining. So when we do appropriate bowel work and cleansing, we can turn your health on and get you onward, upward, goodward, and Godward, fast and furious in a flash. Your body wants to heal. Are you doing the right things to allow that to happen? And then, of course, manage your stress and get good sleep. Yeah, I know. But I had somebody today tell me they're super stressed out, lots of activities, sports are starting up, food is, budget's tight. Kids are not doing well in school. They got so much to do and they can't manage their own health, but they're doing their best. And as we were going through the checklist, looking at their stress and looking at their gut lining, their bowel habits, and looking at their mental clarity, it was fascinating. They improved on every question from 2 weeks ago, and they felt like they didn't really follow the plan. They only took their vitamins twice a day, and I asked them to do it 3 times a day. They thought that they really didn't eat that good because they were running and gunning all around town, but they did their best. And they really don't want to take a lot of vitamins, so we had to keep it kind of tight and managed really short. And everything, their brain improved, their sleep improved, their energy throughout the day improved, their waking up at night to pee or waking up at night period improved, their bowels improved. Fascinating, cool, awesome. Dude, seriously, get better sleep by taking care of your body. Your body won't back up on you. You'll experience the harmony. You'll wake up energized. You'll wake up refreshed. You'll wake up on fire for life, filled inside with resurrection energy. How's that for an acronym? I hope you chew on that one for a bit. You have to throw that down. So, filled inside with resurrection energy. Do I got a surprise for you guys? I'm just gonna throw it out there. I literally had the good fortune of going with Tiffany to a Make Wellness venue where she earned us a trip to go to Mexico. And one afternoon, I don't know, I just said, hey, I know you're going to go down to the pool and hang out and mingle and do all the things. I don't know. I got some stuff I'm going to do. And I literally got in front of my computer and cranked out a book. And I finished it in 2 days. I am so excited. And that was one of the things that came to me, filled inside with resurrection energy. Do you want to be filled inside with resurrection energy, or do you want to suffer needlessly with symptoms that you were not genetically born with? I want you to feel your best, live your best day in and day out. And dude, if I took 4 days off and God gave me a book, I might try to do that every month. I think she'd be excited about that. I don't know. You're gonna have to buy my book and tell me if it's any good. But I'm very excited, and I'm very thankful to God that I had that opportunity and had that experience, because there's no way that could have happened if I wasn't myself filled inside with resurrection energy. Woo-wee. I just want to stop and praise the Lord and say, glory, glory, glory. I am thankful that He's taught me how to live better, be better, stay better, one bite at a time. You know what I mean? So the power foods, man, once I've got people right now that have post-carnivore, they've been carnivore 100 days, they've been carnivore 200 days, they've been carnivore over a year, and we're starting to play with sauerkraut, kimchi, keepers, and see if we can just see what it does to their gut. These are known foods that restore gut microbiome to its full balance. And so I'm not opposed to that. You know, I'm not a what I call a doctrinal foodie. I am a tool foodie, which means I just called myself a tool. I think that's an insult in the 90s. But in this case, when I look at food as a tool, I know when to use a particular tool. I know when to detox on a particular diet. I know how to bodybuild on a detox on a particular diet. I know how to get inflammation down on a particular diet. And I can help newbies and kids on specifically getting their diets checked in one bite, one idea at a time, and seeing their palate evolve and grow. Took this one kid to 3 foods to 9 foods. Not only just an improvement in 9 foods inside of 4 months, they also weren't sick in 6 months. They weren't sick in a year. They weren't sick in a year and a half. Their whole family has gone through different illnesses and they haven't. So this is a generational power, dude, when you start taking care of your health. These foods particularly reduce inflammation, support healthier heart function. So heal your gut, protect your heart, take the first step toward restoring your microbiome, and reduce your heart risk. That's my whole mission. Do you know that's how I got into this? My dad died of a heart attack when I was 19 years old. He died in my arms, and I went on a quest to find out what were the underlying causes that caused him to die needlessly, because he was a good heart patient. He took his cholesterol meds. He took his blood pressure meds. He took whatever medicine they were stuffing down his pie hole. He was changing his diet to a vegetarian diet, and we're eating soy and all this stuff. And they took me off eggs and took me off bacon, and they told me I was overweight and there was metabolic challenges and my cholesterol was a wreck and da-da-da-da-da. And they were setting us up for failure. See, guys, I don't have heart disease in my future because I've changed the path that I'm going. I mean, the reality is I'm choosing a different way of life. I want you to know that your life, your health, your choices can direct your health in a way that doesn't have to mirror your upline, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, whatever, right? Seriously, I want you to grab that, walk away with that, and know you can hold fast. Hebrews 10:23, hold fast my confession of hope without wavering, because the God who has promised is what? Faithful. And if you do things the right way, you practice right ways of living, your chances on living better quality outflow is inevitable. I mean, it's inevitable. Less likely to have misfire and misfunction. Doesn't mean you're never going to have an illness and catch a small cold. I think 2 weeks ago I caught a small cold, but you know what? I was just a little fatigued. I still worked out, still did the cold bath, still, took my vitamins, still went to work, never had a fever, never missed a beat. I was just a little fatigued. I could tell I just wasn't on my A game. I don't know that any patient knew about it. Lifestyle and nutrition support, man. If the dude don't move, the dude don't groove. Regular activity improves circulation and gut motility. So reduce stress, mind-body balance. I always used to wear this bracelet, well-adjusted in spirit, mind, and body. And when you do these types of lifestyle practices, you will decrease inflammation. When you are moving regularly, drinking, hydrating with healthy water, if you put our peptides in your water, if you put my amino acids in your water, you are going to thrive. And so it's just going to allow you to help you recover better. When you take lifestyle nutrition seriously and you live by design, you eat by design, what God created, if it has a mother or father, you should be able to consume it. And that means chickens, pecking around on the ground, not cooped up in a hen house. Fish that aren't coming out of aquariums, that are free range. This is what we're after, wild caught. When we look at animals that are in the wild, this is healthier. Now, does that mean that you can't shop at your local grocery stores? Look, I still do. So, we're doing the best we can, but buy hormone-free meats. This is important. Hydrate well. A liter of water per 50 pounds of body weight. Flush these toxins out of your body to maintain balance. Okay, so this is how the game is played. This is the next level, the detox advantage, cleansing your body, flushing your liver, your lymph, your bowels, your brain, your lymphatics, your lungs. Every tissue cell can be purged, and the detox in a box is set up to do just that. It helps flush toxins, rebalance microbiome, reduce inflammation. It is a healthy detox that you can take in any given point in time. Oh, Miss Jacqueline, where can we find out your gut supplements? 5 days on, 2 days off that you mentioned. So essentially, that is going to be our orthobiotic product. We have an orthobiotic product that we use that you would take during the week. You can go to shop.justlivewell.com, and it's called orthobiotic. Yeah, orthobiotic. So you take that during the week, and then you would take the along with that, you could do the Gut Force, and Gut Force is high dose L-glutamine. And then lastly, you can put in there as the what I call the bug killer, so to speak, that helps flush those toxins out, is a product from MediHerb that should also be at shop.justlivewell.com called Gut Flora Complex. You take that on Saturday and Sunday, 2 and 2, or you could use our Yeast Force, and you could do that 2 and 2 on per day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening on Friday and Saturday. But you might that would be the high dose. I'd just start with like 1 capsule twice a day for a few weeks and see how your body feels on the weekend. But then come Monday, you're off of it and you're back to the orthobiotic. So you don't do them at the same time. It's 5 days on the orthobiotic. It's 2 days on the Yeast Force or the Gut Flora Complex. Good question. Great question. Thanks for chiming in. Good to see you again, by the way. Takeaways, bad microbiome equals cardiovascular mortality. Whew, that just doesn't sound good. Healthy gut lining, stronger, cleaner, more resilient life, heart. And guys, if you enjoyed this message, I approve this message. Stay dialed in. At the bottom is our newsletter. That's the most encompassing way to stay in contact with us. I do have all my socials floating around on this page, but just screenshot that thing so that you can get into our newsletter. And that way you can have access. You'll start to discover where we are, and whatever platform you're into, we're there. And I'm excited just to see how we can take the message, hope, wellness forward. And I am thankful. Yes, Jacqueline, thank you for tuning in tonight and saying hello and asking some questions. I hope this has been helpful. Share it with a friend. That'd be great. And if you're tuning into the replay, share it with a friend and tell people about how to live better, be better, stay better with Dr. Chapa. And go to Dr. Chapa Wellness and tune into all the things that we're doing, and just, be a part of it. You'll be shocked that your life will change just sitting in the orbit and asking questions with me. So shop.justlivewell.com. Yep, that's the one. All right. So thank you guys very much. It has been an absolute honor, an absolute pleasure. I would say that we've got to take the bull by the horns. It's your life, your health, your choice. You can live a better quality life if you start changing your diet. Food is medicine. Medicine is food. Okay. And we need to stop reaching to the drugs. We need to stop reaching to the fake foods that we get into. We need to be willing to change what we're putting across our mouths, recognizing that we're going to crave. We're gonna crave things that we don't want, but that is the body's fight, is to push through what the bugs are dying to. When they start dying off, they start losing bowel control themselves. They start pooping and peeing all over your body, and your body's got to clean up that mess. They are craving. They're going to put you in front of craving opportunities, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to eat my arm off. I remember the time I went 100 days, nothing sweet touched my tongue, nothing. No stevia, no xylitol, no erythritol, nothing sweet. If the spice was in the sugar, if the sugar was in the spice, I didn't touch it. I've been shocked. Garlics out there are loaded with steak seasonings are loaded with sugars and fake processed oils. How are they going to mess? How do you mess that up? Really? You gotta be kidding me. But guys, if you're not reading labels and seeing the obvious, put it back. Or just be understanding that you're going to be sick and inflamed, and it's right under your nose. You know what I mean? It's your life, your health, your choice. You got to choose to look at this stuff, learn this stuff, and I'm teaching this stuff every week. And so share the message with your friends, family, and loved ones. But dude, I'm telling you, just last little thing. I remember 2 weeks in, I wanted to chew my dang arm off. Oh, it was legit. And I was like, oh my gosh. And by about 4 weeks in, I was fine. But it was yeast die-off, man. I mean, it was real. 90 days of no sugar touching the tongue, no sweet touching the tongue, nothing touching the tongue that was even remotely sweet. And it was intense, but it'll change your attitude towards food. When now walking past a donut's easy. Now walking past pizza is easy. Now walking past alcohol is easy. Why? Because when you can walk past the number one chemical addictive processed ingredient in all, high fructose corn syrup and sugar, sweet flavorings on your tongue for a length of 90 days, you can do anything. And the Bible says you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So you don't have to do it on your own willpower. You can do it because the word of God says you can. So guys, by his stripes, we have been made healed. By his stripes, we have been made whole in our body, physically, mentally, in our minds, mentally, and in our hearts, emotionally. So go forward, do something amazing. And remember, Dr. Chapa loves you. Yeah, baby. Great message. Great, exciting talk. And we'll check you guys on the flip side.